hello everyone, and welcome to our conversation about hope, healing, and mental health. Today, I'm joined by a truly inspiring guest, Sophia Nicole Faith, the author of the powerful and heartfelt book, Little Miss Hopeful. Sophia's story is one of resilience, courage, and light, a reminder that no matter how dark life feels, there's always a spark of hope waiting to be found. We'll be talking about her journey, what inspired her book, and how all of us can make small steps to nurture our mental wellness and support those we love. Sophia, thank you so much for joining us today. It's wonderful to have you here. So if you're ready, let's jump right in and start with the story behind Little Miss Hopeful. It's such an intriguing and uplifting title, Hopeful Even in the Face of Struggle. What inspired you to write this book, and how does it connect to your journey with mental health?
Hello. What inspired me to write my book, Little Miss Hopeful, is that I have always enjoyed writing ever since I was a little girl. And I've gone through my own mental health struggles with depression and anxiety and ADHD too. And I was inspired to write this book because I wanted to reach the people out there that had similar experiences or were feeling some of the same feelings, and let them know that they were not alone. And there were other people out there just like them that were waiting to help.
Well, thank you for sharing that. It's incredibly moving. For so many people living with anxiety, depression, or grief, it seems it can be really hard to see hope through that fog, if you will. What helped you personally rediscover hope? And how does your book help readers begin that same process of healing and self-belief?
What helped me personally was I spent a lot of time journaling and reading poetry books and more journaling. And also just little acts of kindness and being there for other people and listening to other people's problems made it easier for me to, show people that helping other people help myself. And I used a lot of that through journaling mostly. What was the other part of your question?
Well, it's just that it's that in the face of the struggle. So that it's really about your specific journey, but what can be shared with others. So the journaling is a good point. In fact, that might come out later. So maybe let me just move on to the next question. But thank you very much for sharing all of that for context, because that is incredibly moving as well. So for it's a powerful kind of message that I'm hearing here and speaking about. I'm wondering, even with all your progress, that stigma still keeps far too many people silent about their struggles. So, in your experience, what barriers still exist around talking about mental health, and how can storytelling like yours help break them down?
Um, I think that there are still same of the old barriers that previously existed, like for men, the need to be strong and provide, and for women to just put on a brave face and put on their makeup and do their hair and show up anyway. And I think that that's one of the most common barriers in general is people don't want to talk about anxiety or depression or anything because they feel that um like it makes them weak or it makes them less, or um just that um ha- just that uh people tend to think that if you just show up and you look presentable, that there's nothing else going on. But there are always things going on that we just don't see. And so I think one barrier is that people would rather stereotype or categorize and put people in boxes. And so that makes nobody want to open up because people don't want to be put in a box. They want to just be accepted and just be who they are. So I feel like it makes people not want to talk about these things because we don't, and there's also so many groups of people where we feel like, well, you can only be honest with certain people. You can't be your true depressed self. You should smile and laugh and try harder. So I think it's a lot of different things where people are just scared to be themselves, scared to open up. I think out of fear, I think out of judgment. And also, we just know that there's so much mental health care things that need to be done that aren't being done, that are out of our control. And I think that's part of it too. People don't want to talk about it because they know that there's nothing they can, or they feel that there's nothing they can do.
Right. And their discomfort sometimes translates to the person who's experiencing those challenges
Right.
to hide it, like you just talked about, which is sad. Um, and getting back to the book, so I love how Little Miss Hopeful focuses not just on surviving, but thriving. You talk about those small acts of care and reflection, little steps that make a big difference. For someone who's just beginning their own healing journey, what are a few simple but realistic things that they can start doing today to nurture their mental health, especially if maybe they're not familiar with journaling, as you mentioned? So, what are some things that you can share?
Um, so journaling is definitely a good option, even if you're not familiar with it. It's just a good way that like I found in journaling, because when I felt like I couldn't talk to anybody else, um, at least I could put my thoughts down on paper and it's out there, even if nobody sees it, and it's out of your body. So even if you still think about it, you got it out in some way. And so that was just a big thing for me, was journaling. And I think journaling is an awesome tool for everybody, even just to help process, like, oh, I do have the heavy thoughts. So there's journaling. Um, I think also just small habits or small goals for yourself, small goal setting, little things that you can do, or, treats like rewarding yourself, for the little things, just for showing up, for waking up, because getting up is a big enough deal. And then the thriving part is once you master the basic little goal setting, like you're gonna work on your hygiene, or you're gonna work on cleaning, or you're gonna work on a few things that will help you not focus so much on what you're feeling. And then once you master that, then it helps you to actually thrive in your life because you have a better sense of, okay, I could manage a few of these things. I can handle this, so I can handle the next curveball. And just gets you back in that state of, if you lose yourself, you can find yourself again. I don't know if I answered that.
No, you did, and that's beautiful advice. I mean, it's basically small steps, but consistent and staying present with both the way you feel and what your needs are. So yeah, very, very powerful. Thank you. So as we close, I'd love to ask, could you recite one of the passages in your book that might best convey what message you hope readers and viewers might carry with them about hope itself?
Yes, I would love to recite one of my. Something had to give. She was starved to death. The constant longing for a hand to hold, anything, just a shared breath. She had a voracious appetite, nothing would quite suffice. The hunger she had to love and be loved kept her foraging fiercely. Determined to quench her thirst, came the burning urge to fight. She fought everyone and everything that's ever made her smile. But what's the point, she thought, in being a willing victim? Why would I stay with open arms if love has always meant something to me, but I am nothing. How can love matter so much to someone who hates themselves? She is in dire need of openness, safety. Where do you go when loving too much is all you know? When there's nowhere for you to be, stay stagnant and breathe. If the good things in life don't come easy, why am I so quick to forgive? She held on too tight, generally did what was right. She let go too slow. Now she's drowning. The waves are coming rapidly, her breath fading, body decaying. As the bubbles rise up, her body floats until it drops down. There is no one to save her now. As I watch her sink, I realize she used to be an awesome swimmer, but now, looking at her listlessly, I see her body is tired, weak. Her view from down there must be bleak. She is a survivor. She punches her way through the water, climbs up to the air to breathe. I guess she decided she had a right to love, a right to life. Something had to give.
Wow. Oh, that's so powerful. That's a great way to kind of finish this segment off. Sophia, thank you so much for sharing your heart and your story with us today. Little Miss Hopeful reminds us that healing isn't about perfection. It's about persistence, compassion, and believing that brighter days are ahead. For those watching, you can find Little Miss Hopeful wherever books are sold. And one easy one, of course, is on Amazon. So you might look there, but follow Sophia Nicole Faith on social media for more uplifting messages. And remember, your mental health matters, your story matters, and you matter. There is always hope. And thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you the next time on our next segment. All right, goodbye, everybody, and thanks very much.
Thank you.